Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here is a fresh headline from Crypto Newsflash. Ripple general manager discloses meetings with banks to issue central bank digital currencies. I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, but I always love hearing a little bit of inside baseball, any little bit we can, because we out here, as XRP holders, we are not, we're not in the like we do our as best we can to arm ourselves with as much knowledge as is public available, whatever's publicly available. But to be able to any additional information where you can kind of get a glimpse of what's going on behind the scenes is always fascinating to me. And this is amidst news where it's already been made clear. There's this idea. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is talking about this idea of using the XRP ledger to move central bank digital currencies. That's not some weird conspiracy thing. That's what Brad Garlinghouse is functionally talking about. So if you haven't heard that, sit tight. All sorts of interesting stuff going on. I do want to be clear that I am not a financial advisor. I am not offering financial advice of any kind, and so you should definitely not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I just think it's fun as an enthusiast to talk about these topics, and I run this YouTube channel as my most favoritist hobby I've ever had, but that is indeed all that it is. All right, so into this first piece here now. Ripple general manager Ashish Burla participated in an event with Payment Source senior editor John Adams to discuss Ripple's progress on collaborations. Burla explained that 2020 marked a shift in how Ripple's partner institutions and customers view digital payments. The pandemic has become a catalyst for adoption of Ripple's solutions. And let me pause right there because it is amazing, like as terrible as the pandemic has been for everyone on the planet, almost everyone on the planet anyway, we've all been affected at a minimum, I'll say that. It's, if you want to say silver lining time, I mean, it is true that, the digitization of society, the pace at which that was already occurring has increased dramatically. And so check out what Ashish Burla had to say. The RippleNet Cloud has been one of the most widely adopted by banking institutions, according to Burla. In this context, he admitted that without the problems the pandemic brought with it, acceptance would have grown to such an I read that wrong. Let me restart that. Moon Lambo have hard time reading. Unsubscribe. In this context, he admitted that without the problems the pandemic brought with it, acceptance would have grown to such an extent within about 10 years. And think about that. And so it's not like, they're celebrating that, bad stuff happened and it benefited us. It's just an acknowledgement of reality. Bad stuff happened, and for some people, that ended up being actually good. I mean, business-wise, can you imagine, like, the companies that manufacture, like, hand sanitizer, for example? Can you imagine? Not that they want people to be sick, but, I mean, help their bottom line. It had to have, right? Unless they're like the most dysfunctional business on the planet, that should have been a goldmine for them. But anyway, here's a quote. People are realizing the benefits they did not realize in the past. They can use the staff and their resources to invest in other things, to invest in technology, to invest in modernization. They don't need that staff to run an on-prem solution. And then the piece continues. Ripple's partners have seen an explosion in their customers' use, according to Burla, of digital payment solutions. And by the way, that's not just prior to the SEC litigation. For those of you who haven't heard, Ripple has announced that in the several weeks, roughly right at 4 weeks following the news that the SEC was going after Ripple, they landed 15 clients. They signed 15 clients. It's averaging close to 4 per week. And for the rest of 2020, they publicly stated that they were averaging about 2 per week. So I don't know what that means, but it certainly doesn't sound bad to me. Anyway, Ripple's general manager said the company's solutions are moving beyond payments into lending, credit lines, and debt. Here's another quote. We feel we can deliver an excellent customer experience for our banking partners and financial institutions. People are relying on us to see what's in the future and bring it to them as we solve the security and regulatory issues. We're on top of it. We're ahead of the curve. Yeah, as far as being at the forefront of regulatory issues, I'll tell you what, if you weren't already trying to be, at the cutting edge, and you certainly are now with the SEC coming after you, which is just offensive. I'm not going to go off onto that in this video. I've talked about that so much, just how there's the genuine absurdity of just waiting all these years and then coming after Ripple. Although I will tell you, in my very next video, I've gained additional insight on what might be going on there. So I've got a whole video where I'm going to kind of break that down for you as well. But that's a different topic. Anyway, then they have this little subheading: central bank digital currencies on the XRP ledger, which brings us to this piece. And this is out just the other day, so I'm going to be brief on this because I did mention it, but it's on the same topics basically, so I just want to make sure that everybody's aware. This one's titled, Ripple CEO reveals huge growth despite SEC lawsuit and focus on central bank digital currencies for 2021. As CEO Brad Garlinghouse stated in a series of tweets and a new blog post, 2020 was a challenging, at times chaotic and stressful year for Ripple. Nevertheless, it was also a milestone year. Last year, for example, Ripple processed nearly 3 million transactions on RippleNet, 5 times the volume in 2019. On-demand liquidity, as the XRP-based sub-solution of RippleNet, saw even stronger demand and experienced 12x year-over-year growth, with 2020 transactions reaching a notional value of around $2.4 billion. Furthermore, the Ripple team closed an average of 2 new customer deals per week in more than 40 countries around the world. And then as far as the part about central bank digital currencies, I think this is where it was. Yeah, looking ahead, Ripple CEO said the company will continue to drive new innovation in crypto and payments interoperability. One focus will be on central bank digital currencies, and this is quite genuinely fascinating. Here's a quote. Key to this will be our ongoing work with central banks and developing protocols that support the direct exchange of central bank digital currencies on XRP Ledger using XRP as a bridge currency. Bold visions right there. I'll tell you what, I know what I hate, and I don't hate that. All right, separate topic now. Grayscale founder expects a tidal wave of capital to flow into crypto. And so we as XRP holders, I know, we've been kind of kicked in the teeth over the last several weeks repeatedly. And despite that, I tell you what, I am very optimistic. I always acknowledge that holding XRP is more risky now than it was before all this nonsense. That's a no-brainer to understand. But the more I look into this, the more confident I feel that ultimately this is going to turn out the way we hope that it will. You know, there's no guarantees in life. But check this out, because money's coming in, and when it does, I believe that XRP, this is not financial advice, but I personally believe that XRP is going to see a tremendous increase in terms of price action. And so, the sooner the better. I'd prefer it if it happens during alt season, but outside of that, I've highlighted on this channel, like there are cryptocurrencies that, based on news, regulatory clarity, have had tremendous spikes, after receiving such clarity. You're talking about like over 2,000% spikes to the upside outside of an alt season. It's been, so I don't want to talk about it any further, but I just want to mention it for those that aren't in the know, because there are always new people subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel, which I do appreciate. And so the piece begins. More than $750 billion has been added to the total crypto market cap since the start of 2020. But according to Barry Silbert, founder of Grayscale Investments, says a lot more is on the way. According to the CEO of Digital Currency Group, a tidal wave of capital is about to flow into crypto. Here are the factors that could cause another surge of record-breaking inflows into Bitcoin and altcoins. And it's always fascinating to me that you're seeing $1 trillion market cap, and only about 1.2% of humans have ever at any point in time held a cryptocurrency, and most of them historically have been on the retail side. You've never seen a market cycle led by institutions until now. Now I think that's pretty verifiably so. And so those are the entities with the biggest money, and now you're starting to see it take off. But still, most institutions and most humans on the planet that would ever consider investing any money into anything at all, they're not here yet. And you're still seeing $1 trillion market cap. And that's why I've stated that I believe there will be individual cryptocurrencies with trillion, if not multi-trillion dollar market caps. That doesn't seem wacky to me at all. Anyway, the total cryptocurrency market cap tapped more than $1 trillion in 2021, but it is possibly only the beginning of what's to come. Last year was underscored by the pandemic, and the unique environment it created was a perfect storm for Bitcoin to rise. A non-sovereign asset outside of the government's reach that is hard-coded to be digitally scarce is incredibly attractive to the wealthy during a time when fiat money is being devalued at alarming rates. Trillions of dollars have been added in freshly printed USD, causing fears of hyperinflation. The price of commodities, stocks, and just about everything else has risen since cryptocurrencies included. And that's certainly true. And so whether or not there's a reality of potential hyperinflation, which I'm not really convinced of, I'm not going to get into that either in this video, there's fear out there resulting in more people coming into crypto. I don't hate that. As a cryptocurrency holder, I don't mind that one bit. Barry Silbert is in the know. He is the founder of Digital Currency Group, parent company of Grayscale Investments, the institutional investment platform of choice for Bitcoin exposure. Grayscale is buying more Bitcoin than miners can produce in the same time frame, feverishly trying to meet demand. The demand Silbert sees must only be growing, ready for the floodgates to be opened. As for what might be the key to turning the trickle of dollars into a flood, it could be coming from the stock market. All assets are currently in a bubble, but few classes are more overvalued than stocks. And I've talked about that too. To me, it's always looked like that's in a bubble. Probably in the United States, housing is. There's all sorts of bubbles, right? You could even argue like there's a car loan bubble. It's just insane. Like they keep pushing out how long, like the term for loans, and you've got like the average in the United States. I don't know the exact number. Something like like $560 is the average car payment. And instead of what used to be like traditionally 5-year loans, you're seeing 7-year loans. People are getting put in the cars that they can't afford, making poor decisions, this and that. And so that's arguably a bubble, because it gets to the point where that can't be paid. You know, if everything else crashes down too, that's where the concern starts to come in here. And so to me, that's why it makes all the sense in the world to just be diversified in a general sense. But guys, the money is pouring in. And so that's why, you know, despite pullbacks, and there's going to be plenty of them that'll be scary to new people, it doesn't mean the sky is falling. Just don't forget that from 2015 to 2017, the end of 2017, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, there were 9 pullbacks of Bitcoin that averaged a decrease of 37%. It didn't mean that the sky was actually falling. It didn't mean the world was ending. It's just, you know, you're talking about an illiquid asset with a complete frenzy around it. It's not hard to understand why it's so volatile. It's not hard at all. But to me, that is incredible, because it just represents opportunity, and so I'm not fearful of it. I don't believe this is going away, and I'll just continue to hold and hold and hold. That's it. I mean, at some point I'll take some profit off the table when I think that the opportunity is sufficient. But right now I'm just holding everything, including my XRP. But I will stop there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.